Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? Let's do a quick mic check real quick. Headache, can you hear me okay?
I got you.
All right, there we go. We are in the building. All right, another episode of ShelfSpace. And if you guys have been following the show, you know that we have a focus on mental health awareness. Turn this down. Mental health awareness, self-mastery, just self-improvement. We also like to talk about interesting topics from the news and entertainment. I am your host on the show here. I go by Almond Brown. You can call me Al. Our other member co-host who will not be here tonight is Mr. Wild Wild West. You know him as Ron. And the baby daddy of ShelfSpace. I'll let him introduce himself to the audience.
Good evening, everybody. This is Headache Mitchell, 1/3 of the most popular podcast on the face of this flipping earth. Hope that we bring something interesting, something innovative, something to give one another to discuss. Thank you all for your time this evening. I hope that we are very entertaining and informative to you all.
Absolutely. Great. Great job on that. So, again, we like to focus on some things here just to spur conversation. I always highlight what the show is really about or what it grew out of is, a lot of isolation happened during the pandemic. And, a lot of people maybe, felt a little isolated. Some maybe went through some periods of depression. And what we like to do is encourage everyone to be okay with asking for help, reaching out to a friend, seeking help, being vulnerable. We talk about a lot of that on the show. And those are things that, maybe in the past you weren't comfortable with doing. Again, we are not the professionals, but we hope that what you hear on the show will spur you to reach out and find someone who is, and take advantage of the resources that are around you. So with that, we're going to jump into this week's show. I have a special announcement that we're going to make later on. We are going to have our first guest next week. We've been talking about, just doing some things, making things more interesting, in our production meetings, and we do have a guest lined up for next week to discuss her book, and I'm going to tease a little more as we go on through the show, and you'll know before the end of the show who that is and the title of that book and what it's about. So just want to give you all that right off the bat. I want to thank all the people that tune in and watch either live or during the week. They watch the replays, leave comments. We do read the comments. We do take all that into effect, in just finding more content for the show and talking about things that are interesting to you. So, all right. So with that, Headache, what you been up to for this week?
Chilling. Caught up with the latest episode of P Valley. Did a little bit more reading in Cry Like a Man, recommended by Dawn. I'm almost finished. Got a couple more pages to go. Working like crazy. Coming up with show ideas. Pretty much it for the most part. Whole lot of music, whole lot of working, whole lot of living.
Cool. All right. So that book that you mentioned, we know that came up during one of our shows as a title, and it's Cry Like a Man. It was brought up by one of our viewers, Dawn Wilson, who recommended that book as a good resource for finding out ways of being more vulnerable. Is that what you're getting from it? I mean, give us a little bit of what you're pulling out of that book so far.
More than vulnerability, you get a lot of self-reflection. Speaks about his past and coming to grips with losing his brother to the streets. I did not know that he was a recording artist. I checked out his video. That was actually pretty good. But a lot of self-reflection. Speaks about young men growing into their own. getting lost in the streets. And the part that I'm on now was he was guarding his virginity until his boys. No, one of the guys that was really close to him cracked a joke on him in front of the whole entire family at a barbecue about him being a virgin. And once he jumped off the porch, he dove into it headlong. And that's why I saw a lot of reflection there for myself. Um, that first piece, after you get that first piece, there's no turning back. We spoke about how he got off of his path with the more notoriety that he got from his music. How he got disrespectful to his moms, getting his moms and his steppops divorced because of his actions. His moms would not allow his steppops to discipline him, so he felt like he could do anything until his steppops had enough and he had to walk off. A lot of it stems from his own father not being there, and he feeling like he not being enough to his pops.
About to his biological or his stepdad?
His biological.
Okay.
He had two other brothers from a different father.
Okay.
Father was very abusive. Mom's finally got away. She met his father, and infidelity crept in. And then he just decided to do his own thing.
Got it. Okay. That's interesting.
So
we've brought up lots of examples of just conflict resolution. Young men, especially in their late teens, early 20s, battling that peer pressure, that having to be, I gotta show I'm a man, letting conflict escalate into something that becomes a bigger problem, and how to handle that.
Peer pressure really wasn't my thing. Taking the tools that I was taught, twisting them and using them for my benefit, that was pretty much mine. And I had already been warned. My mom had already warned me that the things that she taught me about being in relationships, she told me don't use it for evil. Messed around, like I said, after I got that first piece, tried to do that good guy thing and messed around, and the rose tinted glasses were on until I got out to Fort Hood, Texas, and felt like a country mouse in a big city. And those girls, they taught me a lot, and they changed my perspective. But I had to find my own back to where I am today.
So something we're going to talk about later on in the show. You found yourself maybe judging or being judgmental towards women in a negative light, or were you just being judging, trying to protect yourself?
It wasn't really judgmental. Can't say judgmental. I took each experience as they came. It's just that what I was presented, I wound up having to deal with accordingly. So it really wasn't about judgment. Because that'll get into this thing where these dudes get into this thing about all women being B's and H's.
Right.
And I've never really been a fan of that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get into that a little deeper in the show, but again, we're going to continue to kind of reference your journey through that book as we do more shows. We love hearing your commentary on that. We want to. You mentioned watching P Valley, so that's a show that I kind of I don't know what my expectations were in season 1 when I first started watching. I just was looking for something, and I am the reviews on on season 2 have been they've been up and down as you journey through it. I think the writing has been really good, but I am going to say, man, that has been some of the most prolific show development that I've seen in a good while. It gets very deep into people's emotions and mental state, and they do it in a setting that you wouldn't normally think of. It's basically all set around a strip club. But so this past week's episode, and I'd like to give that disclaimer: if you haven't seen it, we don't want to give away any spoilers or anything like that. But this past week episode didn't disappoint. We're coming off of a break, but that really tragic episode the week before, where a popular character takes his life, and you kind of see his journey coming. You see the pain that he's going through, and right there in front of his best friend and love interest, he takes his life. And this episode picks up right from that and comes back to it again. Again, we got some more people tuning in. Thank you for watching, Saul. Thank you for watching, Dawn. But what did you think? Where were we going after Teak dies? Everyone is waiting for what happens next. Murder goes to Clifford for that vulnerable moment. He's hurting, doesn't know what to do. He goes to Clifford. It ends. Now, this week's past episode comes. What were you expecting?
I knew he was going to wind up on his front door. We always wind up on familiar places. This week's episode was mad confusing to me because that big scene that's in there, from my understanding, that's not how the way the relationships are structured. That you have a male energy and you have a female energy, and they don't swap places. So in this instance, where they swap places, that was a little disturbing to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I was a little confused about that too. I was like, I'll have to, leave that where it is. And that confused me because at no point in time did you see Lil Murder be, like you said, the submissive partner in that gay relationship, and then all of a sudden it changes, and so I didn't. Yeah, but I'm not an expert on that, so I don't know.
I'm not either, but like I said, talking with people, and even with
right. Okay.
even with one of our people,
right,
the dynamics, they don't change.
Okay.
That one person has their role, the other person has their role, and I had a feeling that that's what was going to happen, was that it was going to get confusing, and then we're here now, and
yeah,
it's like, what do you go to from here? The crazy part was watching when Mercedes and her daughter were driving to Jackson. That's right down the street from me.
Okay.
So seeing that, and I knew that they filmed here in town, but actually seeing that, it was kind of surreal to me to actually see places that I've traveled past like it was nothing. The only thing that was crazy was not seeing the mayoral sign for her mom's. But that whole situation, that was something different in its own as well too.
Well, it was realistic, from my understanding, and we talked about that after the Supreme Court ruling, where they overturned Roe v. Wade, but the girl that is trying to make that decision goes through a very emotional struggle. It is not what some people paint this picture as. They just flippantly use it as birth control. It's a very tough decision for that young lady. And so what I liked about that storyline, during this past week was the back and forth between Mercedes and her daughter. And Mercedes really, really doing her best to try and not repeat the mistakes that her mom made. So that was a lot of that flashback stuff. She saw herself, in the restaurant. She saw herself, as a young girl trying to deal with her mom, and she wasn't trying to make that same mistake with, with her daughter, Terica, was the character's name, with her daughter. But yet there she was, young, pregnant, same, almost the same situation. She's just telling her, I've been there. You don't understand what you're doing, but the decision is yours. And I was like, really, I just applauded her, that writing the character for doing that, because ultimately that's what it is.
The crazy thing behind all of that is where you really can't tell your child the what's really going on between you and your moms, that she knows that there's something there, that the daughter knows that something is there, but exactly what it is that she doesn't know, that she really can't go in depth. And that part where she was standing in the mirror in the hotel and her reflection was her mother, that joint was real.
Right. She's fighting that, that internal demon where she doesn't want to be her mom's, so badly that she actually is, in some ways, can see herself becoming like her mom. And she's really battling that. And what another interesting was when she was, as a teenager, they were at the restaurant. Her mom didn't have any money, so obviously her mom's been a little shiesty all her life. And she's like wanting her to go flirt with this man to get money. You just kind of see the mental and emotional abuse that this Christian woman put on her daughter. With these expectations and this really brutal way of punishing her and making her feel less than a person. And
go do your thing.
Not to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, go over there and go do your thing. But then doing your thing is good enough to get us fed. But then as soon as I open my wallet and you see this condom, I mean, you kind of sending mixed messages on, you want me to do this for you, but then I'm over here doing me over here, but I'm doing it in a safe manner. Which one is it?
Right.
That dude at the pool, was that not the same dude when she called R. Kelly?
Oh, was he the same one that did what now?
The dude in the restaurant that she told her to go there and do her thing.
Yeah.
And when the dude came around the pool and she told him keep it moving, R. Kelly,
right.
I could have swore that was the same dude.
I didn't think so, but I don't know. I didn't watch it that closely. Thought that was funny. That was a funny line, though. Yeah. Thought that was.
But I mean, giving her daughter the opportunity to make her own choice, that one was kind of powerful as well, where you actually see where they're making steps to attempt to mend these broken fences.
Right. And there's just a lot of unspoken things happen during that as they walk up to the clinic. She tries to hold her, she wants to protect her, and she kind of has an attitude, pulls away, and it's just like, you're making me do this.
The moment she was in the bathroom on the floor when it all came together with, the only thing I wanted you to be was just my mom's. That was it. I didn't want all of this. I just want you to be my mom's. That's it.
Right. Very, really interesting, just a sub-story that's going on between them two. And we'll see how that fleshes out, in other parts of the show, you get a little more, get a quick look at what's going on with Keyshawn. Just for me, my favorite characters now, of course, Mercedes, Keyshawn, and Whisper. I want to see more of them. I want to see more of their story. Just more of them. And then so you get a little more in her, where her husband is abusive. We know that. We've seen that. And it now is a little more evident to people around her. So now she's got an opportunity. The tour's about to kick back up. What's she going to do? He's abusing the kids. You know, she's gonna keep making excuses for him. So you kind of see how they're building up the arc of her character. Um, you see a little more. I want to say this about Uncle Clifford, that his one scene where he goes into the shower and he cries, I thought was real genuine. I feel like that's like the Clifford from season one was very tough on the exterior, been hurt all his life, you know, probably been picked on all his life, and he had tough skin. That's why he dealt so shrewdly with. He managed that place well, you know, with those girls. He didn't play around with them, you know, talk to him like he was tough in season one. But I think what he did a lot, what he would do a lot of was cry in the shower or cry when he was alone. So I thought that was real indicative of his character, fit his character arc. Some of the other things where he's become a little more soft, a little more vulnerable outside of dealing, you know, with, of course, with Little Murder and others. I just didn't think that fit him that well. I really think Clifford, because of his age and how he's been obviously a little, more leaning towards being feminine since he was a young kid, that he's just learned to be tough.
That question that Little Murder asked, I kind of when I was talking with one of our boys about that, I didn't want to come off typical like that with asking that same idiotic question of how long have you been like this, to where it's kind of like an affliction or something is wrong with you and whatnot. So I kind of saw myself in that one when he asked, because when I found out, it was a little shocking. It was a little different. But I mean, it still hasn't changed the dynamic of our relationship. I mean, we're still cool. It's not a lifestyle for him. It's a small portion of his life. But asking that question of how long have you been like this, and sharing that tender moment of being a 3-year-old with a purse, I thought that was a good catalyst of opening up the conversation, of being vulnerable, especially when Uncle Clifford asked him the same question in return of is what are you, and I'm what America won't allow me to be. And there's so much in that statement in its own, outside of one's sexuality.
Right. But now where do you think that's heading? I mean, it's hard to predict what's going to happen. Of course, Teak is out of the way. You know, he had a real relationship with Teak. Now, when things happened between him and Teak, you felt like he took advantage of that man's vulnerability at the time. Now you see something happen with him and Clifford, where is he again using his grief or his that feeling to again take advantage of him? He's already sort of pushed Clifford away, pulled him back, pushed him away, pulled him back. You know, I mean, is he basically doing what some, doesn't matter, gay or straight, people use these in relationships to manipulate people.
Okay, but the thing is, I mean, we do the same thing in heterosexual relationships as well too. Is we look for an opportunity and then we pounce on it. This one was a way to get in. At first, it looked sexual, because he kind of had that same look in his eye with Big Teak, but it was kind of different. It was the same, but it was kind of different. So when they got into it, and then the roles flipped, then that's what kind of got me. It kind of threw me off. But I mean, we as heterosexual men, we want an opportunity, and we seize. Oftentimes, we seize what little straw that's actually there, the first straw that we can grasp hold to, whether it's firm or not. We just grasp at it, and do whatever we can do with it, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And I know I've done that myself.
So good, bad, or indifferent, you've used that.
Of course.
For good or bad or whatever. So
All three.
All three. All right, good. We'll be honest about that. I think we all, if we're all honest with ourselves, we have at times found ways, or we've maybe used a situation to try to get, an upper hand in a relationship, make someone feel guilty, make someone feel like they owe you, whatever it may be. The manipulation is there, and
for mine, it wasn't the manipulation part. It was you made a brother sit on the bench, right? You thought a brother wasn't good enough, right? Don't worry. I'm going to catch you down by that watering hole. And you're not going to be able to run. You're not going to be the swiftest deer in the pack today. So when I jump out of these woods and you start running, you're not going to get far. So just when you thought that you were better than me, and this moment presented itself, welcome to the Terror Dome.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've got maybe 2 or 3 more episodes of season 2 left. There's still some character lines that have not fleshed out yet that I feel like are coming in the next few episodes to really put a button on everything. And so we'll see where that goes. I want to just take a quick minute here to just thank everybody that is tuning in or left a comment in the chat. I want to thank you for watching. Clint, my man, thank you so much. He says, I've become more honest with himself, and I've become greater than he was yesterday. So always about, but I love to hear that, about self-improvement and self-mastery, really. We can look at ourselves. Once we are able to do that, look at ourselves rather than putting the blame on others, but look at ourselves and really take a deep look into what we can change in our own lives to create more of a better reality for ourselves. We're going to have a special guest call in. We have been working on this behind the scenes. She's going to join us next week to talk about her book, but in a few minutes, a good friend of ours, Renita Wilson Gibbs, is going to give us a call. She has written a book, this classmate of ours. We've known her for a long time, but she's written a really deep book about her journey called Finding Daddy. And I'm really excited to have her call in tonight. She's going to call in, just talk a little bit. But she's going to join us next week. So those who are watching, make sure you tune in next week. She's going to join us next week and spend a little time talking about what led her on this journey. So when she calls in, I'm just going to bring her up on audio and let her just talk a little bit about that book. But excited about it. You and I both, we went to school with her, so we've known her for a long time. And what's been so interesting about this podcast that we were doing is that we have seen each other, as young kids, young teenagers, seen each other as young adults, and seen each other as older adults, and we've seen ourselves grow. We, still have stayed connected so much with that young kid that's inside us, but we've been able to view our world and evolve or create, and we use the word evolve in one of our production meetings, and just evolve to become, who we are today, and sort of it's our journey.
I don't know. That's a hard one to deal with. Is our journeys, the pitfalls that come along, the things that we start out planning our life to be, and then it goes in a whole different direction. It gets spun. Sometimes it spins out of control to where we can't get a grasp back on it. That's the crazy part about these journeys that we take. I often speak on mine. No regrets, a lot of remorse, but I have no regrets though.
Got it. No regrets, but a lot of remorse. What is remorse? What does remorse push us to do? I mean, I don't know if there's things I have remorse about, absolutely. But I don't like to lay in that remorse. You know what I mean? I don't like to carry it. I like to learn from it and then move on. So what do you, when you're referring to remorse, do you carry it with you? How does that remorse, what does it do for you as far as pushing you through your day-to-day journey?
Remorse, remorse for me is like fire on steel when you're forging a sword. That you have to bang it, you have to shape it, you have to sharpen it, in order for it to get stronger. So that's what the remorse has done for me. It's made me stronger. It's made me better. It's made me reflective. It's made me more empathetic to people. Um, that's where my lack of judgment comes from, as well too, is allowing people to be themselves versus being what it is that I think that they're supposed to be. Um, so remorse is
All right, go ahead and finish that thought out.
remorse is understanding that I have wronged people, that I have done things that they didn't ask me to do. I was a person that they did not want me to become. Um, remorse is admitting that one is not perfect.
Yeah.
And coming to grips with not being perfect and doing something about it versus it is what it is, because it's so much more than it is what it is. It's a whole lot more.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, as I told you on the phone right now, I've got Renita Wilson Gibbs with me, and we were just mentioning her book, and let's do a quick sound check. I want to make sure that you can hear her and the audience can hear her. Renita, go ahead and give us a quick sound check. 1, 2.
I'm here. I am here. 1, 2.
All right. All right. Can you hear that headache?
I got her.
Okay.
How you doing, ma'am?
Awesome. Hold on. She's not going to hear you. Hold on a second. Yeah, she's not. Yeah, I don't think she's going to be able to hear you. But you can hear her, and we're definitely going to have her on the show next time. I've got her on the phone. I don't have her in on the podcast. So let's see.
You want me to call? Is it a way I can call in? I can't.
No, yeah, not on this browser. Yeah, but next week I'll send you a link. You'll be able to get in. But it's all good. We wanted you to come on and want to give you a few minutes to really. Of course, we're going to welcome you to the show. But we want to give you a few minutes to talk about this powerful book that you've written. And I've told the audience, and Rainbow, we come up with this podcast. We like to talk about self-improvement. We like to talk about mental health awareness. We talk about self-mastery. And I just really felt like, your book, just, hearing you talk about it, that journey that you went on to that personal journey that you went on, and a lot of moments you uncovered is a lot about what we talk about on this show. And so I just want to give you a few minutes to kind of tell the audience what it's about, what led you on that journey, and then make sure they tune in next week to hear you go a little in depth with some more questions about it. So go ahead. I'm gonna give you your time. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, audience. My name is Renita Gibbs, and I just want to briefly just share a little bit about my journey that I walked on as far as finding my daddy. I always wanted to be daddy's little girl, but I never was afforded that opportunity. And I was always, intrigued on why my daddy was not in my life. Where was my daddy? Who was my daddy? And it was just so many questions that I had. And the older that I got, I just intensified my search as far as finding my father. And what inspired me to get on the journey to look for my father is because we all have traits from both our parents. And it was some things that came up in my life that I wanted to know, what traits I got from my dad. It was so many things that was starting to transpire in my life that I was very interested in finding closure on. And by me not having a father, by me not being with my dad, I just took it to a whole nother level and just started looking for my dad. My book was pretty much ordained by God, because as I walked along on this journey, after I connected with my father, the Lord blessed me with the last 6 months of life. God shared with me that the journey that I was on looking for my dad wasn't about Renita. I needed to put my story in a book and be able to help as many females or males as possible who may be in search of their mother or their father. So I challenge anybody under the sound of my voice, if you're looking for your loved one, or if you're looking for your parent that you didn't have while you was growing up, it's nothing wrong with you. Fatherless daughters are not, they're not born, they're made. We was not able to choose our parents, so we can't continue to play the victim role. I tell you, just allow me to show you how I turn my pain into my passion. Next week, I'm going to be talking more in detail about the book, where I'm going to dive into more information about how I actually walked the longest journey. I just want to give you guys a snippet of what I did and what I'm doing now. But fatherless daughters have a lot of behavior patterns that show up from time to time, but you're not those patterns. You're not those patterns. You know, for my fatherless daughters that's listening to me, you know, those daddy wounds are going to continue to show up in your life. They're going to continue to show up in your life until you get to the point of the power of forgiveness. Once you understand that the power of where you're trying to be and where you're trying to get from being unstuck is in that forgiveness piece. So tune in next week when I dive into more details about my journey of my book that was released in 2011 called Finding Daddy.
Thank you. That was amazing. We are excited about it. We've brought up your book already on the show times, and we're excited to hear you tell that story. Angie, who's watching, you answered her question for us. She wanted to know the name of the book, so I'll make sure to include that in the chat window so that y'all can go to that and that link that you sent. So I appreciate you, Renita. We look forward to having you next week. We're going to give you a good portion of the show. We'll have some questions for you, and which I know me and Ramo and Ron both already got questions already, to ask you. But it'll be about you in the book next week, and look to it. Ramo you can't hear him, but Ramo, do you have any comments you want to drop to her before she drops off?
I can't hear you say it again. It broke up a little bit.
Okay.
No, I have to say my flowers the next week.
Okay, Ramo said he's going to save his flowers for next week. So when you'll be in on the show, you'll be able to hear all those. So I appreciate your time, Renita, and we look forward to you next week.
Okay, thank you for having me. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wow, that was good, man. So I know you couldn't respond to her, but what do you think?
I'm saving my flowers for next week.
Oh man, it is
because my flowers they were tied to her book as well too. So once I give her flowers, then we can kind of go forward with that one. Yes,
I've talked to her a couple times about it, and as she was working on it and writing it, and I was just like amazed at how just the story. I mean, we knew her, but we didn't know her. You know what I mean? So those will be a lot of my questions for her for next week. Is obviously something that was going on in her mind, at a young age, and not saying she masked it, but just functioned with everybody, laughed, had a good time, and then but deep down inside there was questions for her, on this. So that is a lot of what.
But that's the thing is everybody has a backstory.
Yeah.
Everybody has a backstory. But I mean,
oftentimes, same thing. Yeah.
But oftentimes, people they don't get an opportunity, or we don't care enough to ask about, like with Terica, and her mom's finally breaking down it. What does Terica outside of the baby, outside of her boyfriend, outside of her mom's? What does Terica want for Terica? And the first thing that came out of my mouth was the first time somebody cared enough to ask.
Yeah. Man, so wow, that's amazing. So we've got these backstories in our lives, all of us. We do a good job of, smoothing them out, covering them up, only sharing them with the certain people, maybe hiding them from even some of your closest friends. And we do that to protect ourselves. one of the topics on the show today was, judging, judgmental. What are these differences? Well, a lot of times we don't want to expose ourselves because we don't want to be judged. One of the things we've asked each other in the production show though was, we have a tendency to judge. I mean, it's kind of hard not to. So we wanted to break it down in between, like, there's different kinds of situations where we judge, and then there's different kinds of situations where we've been judgmental, and we want to like kind of point out the differences and when it's good and when it's bad. So it happens a lot on social media. Leave a comment, get judged. You take a stand on something, you get judged. It happens sometimes in just your daily life. You look a certain way, you get judged. So we live with this, and it's almost become normal. And I think it's, we joke about you being a toxic Avenger, but it has also become in some ways toxic.
Okay, but my thing behind all of that is when we use that everybody does it, when we use that as a shield to guard ourselves, that's the thing that kind of gets me with that one. That is normal, that it's okay. My question to you, being judgmental, is that taking the easy way out?
It's taking the easy way out.
And the reason I'm asking that from the perspective of asking over assuming.
Right.
Because with children are honest with their curiosity, and somewhere along the lines we lose that honesty and we trade honesty in for being nosy. So instead of asking somebody from a genuine place, why are you effed up? Why are you this? Why are you a piece of ish? Why are you this or that? We make up these things in our minds because it's easier. That's why I'm asking are we taking the easy way out with assuming over asking when we say everybody does it?
Yeah, well, I guess we're taking the easy way out. When we say everybody does it, it's because it is the easy way out. And I think if you don't recognize that you do it, then you're going to continue to do it and do it more often. So you have to be cognizant of when you're being judgmental, and when you're just judging in order just to form a conclusion about something. Then Ron, who's not with us today, made a good comment in a production meeting where he says, judging someone's character and judging a situation, whether it's good or bad, two different things. And but I think it's easy for people to be judgmental, and the reason that I think it is for them easy to be judgmental is because we all have our own backstory that we feel like makes us vulnerable, makes us able to be judged, makes us liable for that. And so we want to cover up and dish it out before it gets done to us. It's sort of a roundabout way of saying it. Yeah. I mean, I think I really do. I think that's why that's why back in the day we used to like Jerry Springer, because we judged those people on Jerry Springer as being less than us. It was like, okay, I may have a backstory, but it ain't that. And so it was a way to make you feel better. Judgmental people, they do it, I think, to make themselves feel better. Or we do it. I'm not going to say judgmental people. We all have done it to make yourselves feel better because of who we think we are.
Okay, but does one come to a point to where there has to be something different? Because my thing with Jerry Springer, I just enjoyed standing and watching a train wreck.
Yeah.
It wasn't about judging nobody. I mean, I enjoyed watching the train wreck.
Yeah, I came to that. I did. I think when first watching it, I was a shock. Oh, I would never. But then once my own life spiraled out of control, then I could watch it and laugh. Like I could look back on a lot of these judge shows, these court shows, and laugh. I could watch cheaters and laugh. Because I don't judge these people. Like we've all been in situations where we've maybe been cheated on or cheated. We've been lied to or been the liar. Whatever we've seen on these shows, we've been there, and it's now you can look at it, and sometimes I understand people's pain or people's sorry excuses. You see it, but I do think though when you're judgmental, and the definition that I pulled up for it was just excessively critical, condemning, nitpicking, finding fault with another person or a group of people, an idea or a situation. It happens every day on social media. So when you see that, I think it's more of an indication of the person that is sending that out rather than who it's directed to.
Me, my judgmental portion of me is people with them names, with them Negrofied names, them Boonshikas and all the rest of that, and I'm looking for them to be a Boonshika, and then when they become that, then it's like, all right, you just what I thought you were.
Yeah.
But
But it's not the name.
soon as somebody's name comes up,
Yeah.
and one of those Negrofied names come in,
They get judged.
that's where I get judgmental.
They get judged.
So I don't want to come off like I'm holier than thou, or whatnot. Like I don't have my own faults, but that's my judgmental aspect is them names.
Yeah. Well, you get judged by that. It's hard to. It's hard. I think a lot of Black families have to be cognizant of that. Like, look, I need you to get a job, and I want you writing this on a job application. You could be the best one, but they're gonna have a little bit of a slight bad bias towards that. I mean, it could happen. Yeah, I mean, it does happen. But the name is not what makes it. Now, I've never met a Boonshika. I've never met a Boonshika. I've never met. I just think that's funny. I've never met a Boonshika, but I've met some names. There's some names out there. There's some names out there, but it doesn't make that. They just carry the name, but it doesn't make them
negative.
Doesn't make their character.
There's one that I've had a run-in with on a job that has one of those names.
See, there you go. One of those names. Stop.
One of those names, but she lives up to every aspect of it. She runs her mouth too much. She tells everything that she knows. She even tells stuff that she doesn't know. She will make up stuff that isn't true so long as it benefits her. But she carries herself exactly like her name. She's one of those names.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you see the comment there. Angie made a comment, says she's had people in her family judge her about something she did years ago, even though when she was in this situation, they came uninvited to the house and said I needed to make a lifelong decision. Without going into all, they came with an agenda, ultimately took their advice and accepted that I was making the decision that would take full responsibility for it. And then Clint says, you must find the imperfections within yourself to become greater. So, judging not being judgmental on yourself, but judging yourself is sort of his comment. But when Angie's comment happens every day, people become judgmental tell you what you should do or what they expect from you. I mean, I'm not saying you're doing this to your coworker, but you are saying you're doing this to your coworker. But this is a situation where she's living up to what you're judging her for, right?
For me, it's about like with stereotypes. Is a stereotype if it's the truth?
No. I'm gonna tell you what. I
And
hate
she's
that.
she's stereotypical, one of those names, and it's the truth.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, man. I hate
Please.
I hate stereotyping. I hate it. Because stereotyping, what it does is yeah, maybe right. You may be right on, you may be right on 48 out of 50. And what's going to happen is the two that you were wrong about, we're going to be awesome people. And for some reason, whatever opportunity you took away from, whatever door you closed on them, you know what I'm saying? That's no.
Okay, but that's what I'm asking about stereotypes. Is a stereotype if it's the truth? I don't work behind stereotypes.
Yes.
I allow you to be your own piece of ish. And as I always tell people, I am a piece of ish. I know this, but I'm not that kind of piece of ish. We two different kind of pieces of issues.
Oh, Constance tuning in. What's up, Connie? She left a comment that said coworkers responsible for their own behavior. Yes.
Okay, how do you get that across to somebody when you're irresponsible, you don't see what it is that you're doing, and when you start doing the same thing to different people, especially when you're running upstairs telling them folks something that isn't true, that could be detrimental to your way of life, and you start throwing around accusations that aren't true, but you're so ticked off that that's the only weapon that you have. Because this person, she's levied some sexual harassment charges against some people, but the same charge, I mean, she's levied the same exact charges against multiple people. So we're not wanting to take responsibility for our behavior, because one of the people that she put a sexual harassment charge on, this gentleman carries her. He does his job and her job. And then when he speaks up for himself, then that's, oh, I'm a victim. Oh, he called me such and such. He sexually harassed me. But then you won't run and go tell them folks. You won't tell them folks when you goofing off, though.
Well, of course not. Yeah. But I mean, what Connie says, stick to the details. Right. Put the facts on the table. But don't put yourself in that situation. You can judge people. Now, you can judge them, right? But where we're looking at is judgment, and judgmental. You can judge somebody for their actions. Yes, happens every day. These are your actions. I'm going to say this is what you would do in this situation based on your actions. Judgmental is saying they can't ever be a better person than that.
She can't. It is virtually impossible. And me, I am an advocate for change.
No, you're not saying that. You're not.
Wait a minute now. See, now you about to do your judgment. You about to pass your judgment.
I'm just judging
without letting me finish.
All right.
Without letting me finish.
Go ahead.
I am an advocate for change. I am a result of change. But there are some people, certain people, that you can't reach. That they're only God can save them. And that's not being judgmental. That's, as Constance said, truth is the truth. There's some people that we cannot reach.
Right.
And oftentimes we have to hit rock bottom in order to find our way back up, where you have to hit a foundation in order to get firm footing. And right now she hasn't hit it. in my opinion, in my passing my judgment, because she's one of those people.
But she's not incapable of learning, right?
I don't know. Is she? Is she? Because this is deeper than a conversation.
Yeah.
This is deeper than presenting. This is how you are affecting me. This is how you are affecting the culture, the work culture. It's deeper than that. Because we want to be a victim. And being a victim versus dealing with the truth, it's an easier pill to swallow.
No,
just like passing judgment is an easy pill. It's an easy pill to pass out. And here, I want you to take this judgmented pill and swallow it and don't say anything. Just take my judgment.
I hear what you're saying. We're all gonna do it. We're gonna make a decision about somebody. We're gonna make a judgment on somebody, whether they need to be in our circle or not. Whether I need to be, if I can work with them or I can't. I need to be on the other side of the building. We're gonna make a judgment on that. But I'm just saying we need to be careful and just make sure we ask ourselves when you're being judgmental and you say somebody has done something and they can't change and they can't be forgiven for this, or they can't come back from having done this. That's when you're entering into a dangerous territory. Is in the situation with Angie. I really feel for her situation. I'm proud of her for the strength she's shown in her comments. And she says, they judged her, and then 20 something years later, they have found religion with politics. And they've altered their feelings, and now they're still calling her, and they're still passing judgment on her, as if she can't ever, she made a decision and she can't ever get past that. That's when we don't need a world full of those kind of people. We all need to afford each other, some room to evolve, to become different. Like you said in the production meeting, we evolve. You got to afford them room to become different. You share something with them, and then if they take it, then great. If they don't take it from you, maybe you're not the one to deliver the message. You just might put a little seed in them and they get it from somewhere else. But we just got to, we've got to get out of that lane where we're saying this is it for them.
I'm with Constance on this one. Everybody don't need to sit at the table to eat. If you want to eat, go sit over there at the kids' table. Go eat over there with them. Go eat over there with them. While we over here, we doing our thing over here. You go sit over there at the kids' table. But I mean, getting back to P Valley with Terica, and she asking her mother about that question about burning, being tossed headlong into the eternal fire. First thing that came out of my mouth is God knows your heart. Forget what other people have to say. God knows your heart. So
okay.
So with the passment of judgment, I am still a firm stickler of evolvement. Your story, the way it started yesterday, doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to end that way. So, but I mean, if you're comfortable with your lifestyle, living it the way that you're living it, have at it. I just need to make a judgment call not to be in your circumference.
But see, I think that's the best that's the best story for us as people, that hope for us as people, as humans, is that we can be better. We've talked about, I said, man, you can create the character in you that you need, that you're looking to, when you practice these. And we talk about that. We practice being more positive and being less judgmental. You can create that positive character in you. You admit that, you're going to get that back. I really feel that's sort of along the line of that Alan Watts thing. Okay, but when we are judgmental, there's a lot of self-righteous people walking around saying, God knows my heart. Absolutely, that is true. But they have a different or bent perspective on what that actually means.
Okay, but that has to be. Oftentimes, that's not rooted in a personal truth. You use it is used as an excuse. And getting back to Angie and her about they not wanting her at their table. Apparently, it seems cool because she built her own table, and she's
Yes.
functioning extremely well at the table that she built for her and her family and those, and added the extra seats to her table and invited the people that she wanted and that she felt that deserved to be there at her table. She provided enough seats for them.
I understand. Yeah. It's just that when so when you've got people that are judgmental, that are in your life that are being that way to you. So again, back to that definition of, excessively critical, unhelpful point of views, condemning, nitpicking, they find fault in a lot of what you do and your ideas. When you have that in your life, you do have to remove yourself from it, because constantly hearing that, constantly putting that in your psyche, in your mind, is going to make you have a bad perspective of your own self. Just question yourself. It'll lower your own self-esteem. So you do have to remove yourself from that. But when you hear it, just remove yourself from it. But when you hear it, just don't take it to heart. You cannot take it to heart, and then you cannot turn around and be judgmental towards them. You've got to. I keep saying this. You've got to give room for people to evolve and change. You have to give room for them to do that, no matter how nasty they are. I'm not saying I'm just saying people in your circle. There's people that get, you know what I mean when I say people in your circle, people who are part of your circle. We all have them. We all have people in part of our circle that, all right, I tolerate them, I like them, and we've had good times together. I'm not going to ever get them out of my life, but they may be in one of those moments in their life where they're being really judgmental.
It's kind of different when it comes from inside your circle. Sometimes there's that one or two that's there that always has something negative to say. But for the most part, it's kind of different when it comes to your inner circle. The difficult part for me is that feeling fake when there's something in my head and there's something that I really want to say, but I edit myself. And there are certain things that I would like to know on how people have become the way that they are, or why you think that it's cool to be like this. But them looking at it, being fearful that they're going to look at it like I'm attacking them, and that's not the case. It's coming from a genuine interest of how the flip you get like this. How the flip was it cool to go along, to get along, to be part of that number that Malcolm Gladwell spoke about? How the flip did it become cool for you that it took these many people for you to jump in and join in with the rest of them?
Right.
But like how society is headed to right now, where it's either eat or be eaten. There is no more right and wrong. It's only weak and strong. And you fool.
You feel more powerful when there's more numbers. So when you see two or three passing judgment, being judgmental, it's easier for you to jump in because you don't want to be exposed. Again, it goes back to us hiding our backstories, trying to keep ourselves from being exposed because we ourselves don't want to be judged.
Okay, but I don't know. For me, I'm cool with whatever you say. Let's deal with it from whatever aspect of the truth there is, no matter how minute there is, even if what you're saying is 1% truthful. Let's deal with that 1%. But give me the opportunity to be able to expand upon that 1% so you can see the other 99%. Because if you only see that 1%, that 1% is going to turn into your version of 100%, what may not actually be the actual truth. And I think that's why we have lost contact with one another with living in a digital world where we just throw things out into the metaverse and say whatever we want to say. And in this effort to deal with it, good, bad, and indifferent versus sitting down and having a conversation. That if I have a problem with you or how you are treating me versus developing something in our head, being able to be comfortable enough to come to somebody and say, hey, it's effed up what you doing, bro. What's the deal? Is there anything going on? Is there something wrong? And watching a video today made me think about you. When the gentleman was saying about passing judgment, we never ask, are you okay? Is there anything wrong?
Right.
About like when I shared the video with the young man that offered to help and the lady that was coming down on him, that he just completely ignored her and I'm not here for you. I'm here for him. So what you have to say, it doesn't mean a hill of beans. Helping this gentleman, this is what I'm here for. But that's the thing is, I think that we have lost contact with one another and the ability to have a conversation and to be able to take the criticism that comes with it if it's coming from a genuine place.
From a genuine place. That's kind of
versus just having something to say.
Right. That was kind of based on Kanye's comment. It's got to come from a genuine place. But you just said one of the reasons why people find it so easy to judge or be judgmental is because they don't know. They did not ask, "Are you okay?" They don't know what's going on with the person. They've seen it. They've made a decision. They don't need to know anymore. This is who they are. This is who the person is. This is who they will be. This is the person they told me about, in the church sermon. This is the person I heard about in my self-help videos, whatever. They've already put it on you and they've labeled you. We don't give each other, we don't afford each other any room to evolve. And, and then the situation that's going on with, like what Andy was saying here, is they constantly, these people are her family, are constantly passing judgment on her. And, the thing that I have to keep reminding myself, and I tell others, is someone's personal opinion of you, their own personal opinion of you, they don't even know you, doesn't matter. It's like you create your reality, your personality. Your personality is your reality. So who you are, I don't know Angie for what these people are calling her. I know her from my engagement with her, and she's nothing like that. So this is what I'm saying, is like that they're only looking at her from their judgmental perspective.
The 1%.
Right.
And they formulated that 1%, they've turned her 1%, because that is only that's not who she is. Yeah. That is something that she has done.
Right.
So therefore they have formulated that 1% and made that 1% into the whole gamut, and they've turned that whole 1% into 100%. And that's not the truth.
Yes.
That's your truth. That's not my truth.
Yeah.
So say whatever you're going to say. Say whatever you're going to say, and I will give you the opportunity to call me whatever, because I have come from a family that they have said things about us all our lives, but it's the same thing in battle rap. I get my chance to rap too.
Right.
So just like you have things to say, there are things that I am choosing not to say. So you do whatever you do, and you be the best person that you think that you can be. But that's your truth. That's not my truth. And I'm not living in your truth. You will not occupy space in my head where you don't pay rent. You will get an eviction notice from up out of here. So it's best you keep your comments, however it is that you want to keep them peaceful. There's a difference between being evicted from here and being evicted from here. And you don't want to be evicted from here because there is no coming back.
Yeah. Good point. But what I would impress on everyone is when you're feeling someone's judgment on you start to take hold, and now it starts to shape your own view of yourself. You got to remove yourself from that noise. You got to remove yourself from that noise, and you got to spend some time asking yourself, a few questions: who you are, what matters to you, what is special about you, those kind of things, those kind of questions, and then you start reshaping your own vision of yourself. And then we ourselves, and we're all guilty of it. We have to stop being so judgmental on others, and especially those who are close to us. Sometimes we do it from a place where we just want them to be better. We don't want them to make mistakes. We press upon them our experiences. So when we see them doing something, we're not making a judgment on them. We're actually making a judgment on ourselves. You know what I mean? Like we're projecting our own judgment of ourselves onto them. And that's what I think a lot of
I don't know. For me, I don't want people to be better. I just want you to be empathetic.
That's a part of not being judgmental. Yeah.
Your dirty sins, they get washed in the same washing machine mine get washed in when we standing tall in front of the man. So you got your dirty stains on you, just like I got my dirty stains on me. You need to be focused when you stand in front of the man and you trying to get them stains out before you stand in front of the man. You don't have time to worry about my stains. Take care of your own stains.
Yeah.
So I mean, for Angie, she may have to start incorporating my phrase there of what does that mean, and put other people on the hook. I'm not gonna hang on your hook. I'm not gonna hang on your cross. So in order for you to get a better understanding of you, sometimes people need to hear the words that's coming out of their mouth in the form of what does that mean? Because oftentimes we use statements and we use words that we have no idea what the definition of that actually means.
Right. We heard it.
So if you call me something, what does that mean? Or, okay, so let's say I am what you say that I am. How did I get like this? Since you have all the answers, how did I get like this? And then we can start delving into who are you? Not who are you to call me anything, point blank and period. Who are you? Because what I do and who I am oftentimes are not the same person.
Yeah. We've all had moments. We've all had moments. And if you haven't, you'd be lying if you say you did. Because we've had this moments where we've done things out of character. We've done stuff that, you talked earlier in the show about, you carry some remorse. Yes, man, I've done some things that are out of character. Yes, but it is not who I am. And when someone tried to make me feel that that's who I was belligerent and pushed back. Yes, I was wrong. Yes, but that's not who I am, and I'm not going to let you put that on me. Okay, and it is, and we have to have that confidence in ourselves and who we want to be. That whatever day that happened on, whatever event happened and you were out of character, that was you out of character on that day. But that is not who you are.
It's not your character. Getting out of character does not define your character. It just exposes a flaw in your character. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But for me,
I don't even want to say it's a flaw. I wouldn't even want to say that. I'm just saying we all have our moments, man. Where we just give into the dark side.
But it's a flaw.
We've had enough.
But it is a flaw, though, because out of our imperfection, it's a flaw.
Right.
So being comfortable with having flaws, but not resting in our flaws, it's two different animals.
Yes, not resting in, but being comfortable that but you've got to have a circle that allows you to have your flaws.
A sore place to fall. The same statement that I keep using week after week. We all have to have a sore place to fall.
Right.
And oftentimes we don't. And we don't even have a sore place to fall within ourselves.
No.
And I will push that to the day that I die. If you don't have a sore place to fall, be your own sore place to fall. Be vulnerable with yourself. Be honest with yourself.
We don't want the shame. This is what I've learned, about myself over the past year. Just talking with my therapist. I avoid shame. I don't like it. I don't want to. She's like, you got to learn how to like feel it. Be in it. And then, I was like, nah. I was like, what you talking about? Nobody. I don't want that. I don't. Who wants to feel shame?
Okay, but isn't that part of what you've done and not whom it is that you are? Starting from that aspect.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It is. But
so
you know what? I for a long time was not comfortable with my flaws. So how could I didn't have a circle that was comfortable with me having flaws? You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't comfortable with it. So of course I'm gonna attract a circle that's not comfortable with me having flaws. I did everything right. that was my thinking. I did everything right. I thought about stuff so long. I was like, when I pull the trigger on it, it's gonna be right. So even when I was trying to dish out some get back on somebody, I thought about it, and when I delivered it, they deserved it. It was right. It was the right thing to do, So, but learning within that's a flaw. That I've gone overboard. I've done things that I like you said, I'm remorseful for, because I don't like to sit in my own shame. Nobody does, but we need to learn how to, like you said, have a circle where we've got a soft place to land.
Being a shy kid that wasn't very confident in himself.
Who?
Being a shy kid that was not confident in himself.
Y'all don't believe that.
Until
our lockers were right next to each other.
Until I got a new lease on life in 7th grade at Morgan Road Middle School.
Okay.
Brand spanking new school. We were the first students there. Brand spanking new school. And Troy Thomas, I owe everything to that young man. Troy was the shortest person in our school. People cracked on him. He cracked back till he made people flip and cry. And I wanted that. I wanted that confidence. And becoming friends with him, he was like, why can't you have it? You ain't no different than them. They dish it out. You dish it out back. You got to find something in you that you deem yourself worthy of and build off of there. And those words have held true every day of my life since that day. So my defense mechanism has become that sharp tongue. I let you get away with things. I don't like being confrontational, but people see that as an opportunity to pounce in. So when I tell you, go ahead, go another block, leave me alone. You got it. You win. I quit. I give. Let's go ahead and let's stop this, please. We want to step forward and we want to start flexing. So in order to not take my fists and put them through your face, I want to take my words, squeeze them in my hand like lotion, and rub them all over your soul. So when next time you see me, those words will resonate in your head for the remainder of your life, and you will tread lightly when dealing with me. And I don't like being like that.
Right.
And that's not something that I do. That's who I am.
That's it.
And I understand that. And I understand that that's a put off with people. It's a put off with some people, with a lot of people. But some people, they need that, especially when you're looking to be a good-hearted, genuine person that don't mind sharing with you. But when you start taking advantage of it, and I'm letting you know you're taking advantage of it, and then you want to holler, F that, I'm going to do what I want to do, I'm going to say what I want to say, and you can't do nothing, we don't have to fight it out. Just take my version of the truth, rub it on your skin like lotion.
Yeah, but
So the judgment, a lot of judgment that people have on me, a lot of it is accurate. It's accurate, and I'll take that and I'll wear it, cause and it's the same thing that I tell my old lady. I know what goes on behind my eyelids,
right,
when they are closed. I know those things. I have come to acceptance of them. There are things that I'm working on. There's a dark side of me that I'm cool with that because I've accepted it and I'm cool with it. Now I'll be your best friend. I'll come and get you in the middle of the night. If you need somebody to talk to, I'm there for you. Don't take advantage of it. And that's the way society is going, is that you see somebody that's genuine and kind-hearted and that'll do their very best for you, and you just keep taking and keep taking and keep taking, and you have nothing to give other than your rump to kiss. And I'm not cool with that.
But again, that is on them. It is on the giver to give what they feel should be given.
And sometimes, oftentimes, I want to be a giver too.
Well, when they say, "Look, I'm gonna stop the giving. I'm gonna cut it off and give it all." A lot of times they won't do that again because they don't want to be judged. Oh, you're not going to help me. You know that fear of being pointed out and saying, hey, you're not who you say you are. You're not this kind, caring person because you cut me off. These are just, again, our fears push us into that mold that the judgmental people are building for us. And being afraid, it pushes us into that mold. You cannot be afraid of that. I mean, really, honestly, I want to say that because, like Andy's really dealing with that, feeling that judgmental vibe from that circle she's in. But, a lot of times the loudest, the ones who are the loudest, the ones who are pointing and the most critical and the most condemning are the ones covering up their own faults, like you mentioned, their own shortcomings, their own faults. They want to bring somebody down to where they are. They don't want to see anybody. Well, look, I'm not going to let you get away with that because I haven't forgiven myself for whatever I did. You need to feel bad for the rest of you know what I mean? You need to be down here. And so they want to bring you down with all that judgmental stuff. And you just have to remove that noise from around you.
Okay, but see, that's like letting people know my shoes cost too much for me to get in the mud. I don't want my shoes getting rained on, so I don't want to get in the mud with you with these pretty shoes on. And if I have to get in the mud with you and mess these shoes up, it's gonna get dirty. And I don't want to do that. So if you want to be in the mud, be in the mud. I'm cool with you being in the mud. Don't bring me in the mud. And when I tell you I don't want to get in the mud with you, I'm serious. I don't want to get in the mud with you. But then there's, he don't know. He don't know himself. He gonna do nothing. And you're right. Oftentimes you are right. I'm not gonna do anything because it's best to take the high road out and leave you over there by yourself. But sometimes the human side of me F it. Let's get these flipping shoes dirty. Let's get them dirty.
And then I think you're doing it out of spite. You're doing it to, out of spite to prove you're right, or to prove that you're going to be right.
Is that a question, or is that a question, or is that a response?
It's more like a response when you say, "Look, I don't want to get my shoes dirty. I don't want to get involved in this, get dirty," and they make a judgment against you. Go, "Oh, you don't want this yet," and then you say, "All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do it."
Exactly, because you want it. You think you want it, and I'm telling you, you don't want it, because I'm not gonna get physical with you, and people take that knowing I'm not gonna get physical with you. I'm not gonna throw my gun in your face. I'm not gonna do that. I refuse to do that. I refuse to turn into an animal and throw my fist or my gun in your face. So, since you're hindering me, and I have certain constraints that I live and I die by, go ahead and take these words. And then when I hurt you, when I go ahead and I put you in that full Nelson, and I tell you, all right now, go ahead now. Then that's when you want to turn around, you want to start swinging again, and then I got to put you back in the full Nelson. Oh, this time I got to put you in the figure 4. But this time, I don't give a flip if you tap out. And I don't like being like that. But some people, they want that. I won't say that they want that. They think that they want it until they get it. And that's when I honestly, I tell you, let's not do this. Let's not go there. But it looks like I'm avoiding conflict. And it's not that I'm avoiding conflict. I'm avoiding the outcome.
Right. Well,
and I don't want us to go there, because I'm gonna be cool with us going there. That's that toxic adventure part of me. I'm gonna be cool with going there, and you're gonna develop some kind of hate towards me for the rest of your life, and we don't need that. We need better people.
Right. It's not gonna get any better.
And I want to be a better person.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is let those judgmental moments, let them go. Let those judgmental people, let them go. Angie, and I think we all might know some people like this. Like Angie mentioned, these people who claim they're Christians and they go to this church, and so they replace the crosses with the American flags, and so they have this, wearing this patriotism on their sleeve, and they're just judging everyone but when you listen to them talk, and you listen to what they say, it comes from a place of anger, place of fear. I know one in particular who I know is political persuasion. We worked together. He's a good dude. I'm not gonna say he was a good dude. He's a good dude. Sat at the table with them, talked about personal issues where it brought him to tears about how he grew up and his family and things that happened with him and his mom. And he's sitting at the table crying. But then this, past few years of this political season became very, very, just very bitter and angry towards people. And I always tell myself, man, it's just I wouldn't peg you for one of those people. because I know who you are. I kept telling him this. I know who you are. Nah, this, that. He's reading the news, listening to these, and saying these things. And I was like, I just kept saying to him, I know who you are. He would say so. I was like, I'm not going to talk to you about that. And he'd or say certain things, and I that were borderline racist. And I was just like, where are you getting this from? And my response to him was like, everybody's not like that. Everybody's not like, oh, I know. And I just got to the point, I said, I can't talk to you about politics, man, but I love you. And because I love you, because I know who you are. I've sat at the table with you and watched you cry about things, and I know you got a heart, and that's not you. So wherever place you are right now, whoever has told you to be this bitter and be this judgmental about people you don't even know are leading you down the wrong path. That's what I told him. And that's what I would say that, Angie and her circle, these are people that they weren't all, I would imagine, weren't always like that. If you grew up with them and you knew them and they were basically your family, they weren't always like that. But somewhere or another, they've changed, and whatever they are getting from being that way towards you and towards others is because they have their own faults and flaws that they haven't dealt with.
I wouldn't necessarily say all of that. Even to the point of with your friend. It's all part of acceptance of this is who I am right now, and we can only be whom it is that we are from moment to moment. And there are pivotal things that alter our destiny, that reformulate and recalculate whom it is that we are. So if this is who you are, I have to accept this. Not what it is that you share with me, because something happened to you then, and something is happening to you right now in this moment, and it's an honest moment in your world. So I can't bring you into my world and tell you that that's not the truth. That's your truth. And the only thing I can do is accept it and deal with it. And then we can have a conversation on how it is that you feel. Say whatever it is that's on your chest. Good, bad, or indifferent. I don't give a flip what it is. And no matter what it is that you have to say, I rather tongue kiss the truth than make love to a lie. So if it's racist, say it. Don't give a flip. That's how you feel. I am not your November 1994. I am nobody's November 1994. I will never be a November 1994. So you can say whatever it is that you want to say about whomever, however, say it, and then let's deal with it from there, from your version of the truth. Since you want to put it out there. But that's me being comfortable in knowing exactly who I am.
Right.
And not the cute, pretty parts and the things that I do for people. It is so much more layers to me than this kid from Glen Hills, Georgia. There are so many more layers to it. Is mind-boggling. It's even mind-boggling to me, seeing where I've come from in direction to the place of where I know I'm going. It's just taking me longer to get there.
Yeah. I just don't think it's in people's nature to, I don't think like hating a group of people, judging a group of people, you're not gonna develop that on your own. You're gonna be led to that by voices, situations, ignorance, lack of being around them. Those are kind of things. So that's why I said about him is I just knew he wasn't that way, and I know what it is. And it wasn't those people. It wasn't these people who don't vote the way you do, making your life miserable. It's not them. It's you. Is really what it comes down to. These people that are judging Angie, it's not what she did that is making them judgmental. It's what they did that's making
no,
them
it's what they think they would have done in her situation. But it's always different when it's on you.
Yeah.
especially when you have a different perspective. But we always want to make people have our perspective from the outside looking in versus being allowed to come in on the inside and sit down and ask questions and accept your version of the truth or your truth that you are living. That's why I'm always an advocate of allowing people their own defense. They can defend themselves extremely well if we allow them to. And I'm quite sure Angie could defend herself extremely well if she was permitted to do so. And to speak upon her situation where she said that it came from family, one of my boys had that come from the woman, the same exact situation come from the woman that claims that she loves him. She said the same exact words to him that you don't have any kids, nobody'll be there to take care of you, so you gonna be stuck with me. And she reveled in that moment, and I felt dirty having to sit there and listen to that come out of his mouth. Well, it was almost like gloating that you're not gonna have kids, and nobody's gonna take care of you. But all the while you have your child, but then now you're preying on a moment where my boy, you looking to be able to capitalize off of that, off a decision that he felt was the best decision, not just for himself, but for you and for the child as well too. And you're gonna gloat in that moment. So I understand exactly where she is, but it came from somebody that he lays down next to every single night.
Again, whenever I hear that, whenever I hear, we were talking about judging and being judgmental. Whenever I hear that, I just think that there's something in them. Like you mentioned, I don't agree with you. It's just something in them that they are dealing with that is making them pass judgment on you. Their own flaws, their own shortcomings, the things that they haven't dealt with. I know from, for instance, my friend, there's a lot of things that he hasn't dealt with, but he will judge others first before he looks at what did I do? What did I do to create my own reality right now? That I'm
where
so
I'm going with this.
with.
You know where I'm about to go with that, right?
Where is it?
You know exactly where I'm getting ready to go with that. You know that patented statement, that one that you always fight me over. If and when a relationship goes bad, or when it goes wrong, if and when it goes wrong, it's always our fault. And that's the premise behind that, is looking at yourself first before passing judgment on a woman. Accepting responsibility. That's what that statement is about. It's not about accepting untruths, but deal with your truth and how you contributed to the situation versus pointing all 5 of them fingers or 4 fingers and a thumb, pointing them back at them and not pointing them at yourself.
Right.
That's the premise of that statement that you love to fight me over.
Well,
and you're going to cave in. You're going to cave in.
When you said when a relationship goes bad, it's always the man's fault. You said that.
Of course.
Plain simple. It's not always.
Of course.
No.
So we never play into our own demise. We're perfect. We do everything right. We've done everything right.
No.
That's what that statement is about.
No, even relationships that work have imperfect people in them, just working through it.
Even in relationships that work, we're not the only one working them.
Right, exactly.
Exactly my point. It's not all about somebody else.
And when a relationship goes bad, it ain't just always the man's fault.
Negro, please. You can go ahead and put your little. You can put them seatbelts on, but I don't know if they got taps on them. It sounds like they got taps on them.
Well, look, I we're gonna, man, it's been such a good conversation, and thank you for all the comments. Um, we're gonna kind of, get to our closing part, but we definitely want to continue the discussion. Again, those who are tuning in right now, make sure you tune in next week, because we've got Renita Gibbs on. She's going to be spending some time talking about her book called Finding Daddy. And she was on earlier tonight. If you missed it, just rewind the live back and listen to her interview that we did with her on the phone. Just kind of prefacing the book. She will be on next week to talk more in depth about it. We are really excited about that. And then, as usually with our last phase of the show, we kind of close out with some things that we are going to be doing this week. I didn't want to disappoint you this week, man. I did bring the Air Zen gurus to the show to let you get a little taste of it. Bam, bam, bam. You see the seatbelts, so we got 3 buckles on them. 1,
And then you got
2, 3. 3 buckles, foam pad, tracks on the bottom. Look, I can race you on the street. I can walk. I can wash the car. I can go to the grocery store. And you can wear socks with these people. You can wear socks with these. All right. I just want y'all to know that the low cut ankle socks below the ankle. I don't wear my sandals without socks. Socks and sandals are in now. I don't go anywhere in my sandals unless I got socks on. Or if I'm just chilling at the beach, of course, no socks. But the low cut, don't wear the tube socks. Don't do that. Don't wear the tube socks.
hold them back up again.
Daddy.
Hold them back up again.
Get a good look. 3 buckles.
That strap there.
Strap in the
that
back.
strap across there.
Ow.
1, 2.
We got
buckle my shoe. Man, get the flip out of here, bro. Cannot wear them things outside. Them things you do not go to Walmart, and them things you do not go to Walmart, and them things at 2:00 in the morning.
Man, I do. Man.
No, you don't. Let me catch you outside with them on.
These in style. And I got a leather pair. Got a brown leather pair.
See, that's what y'all do.
That's what y'all
do. That's what y'all.
I'm
We
about
just
to pick
had
up
this
another pair.
conversation.
Nike got a pair on sale on Nike.com. About to pick up another pair of those. And now, look, let me tell you, folks, you really want to drop some money on some nice sandals, and know these are not old man sandals. Okay, you want to really drop some nice sandals. No concepts. These are not for old people. You want to drop some money on nice sandals. Keep looking at Teva, Teva. They've been around a long time. I used to sell shoes. Back in the day. That's why I'm such a shoe fanatic. I used to work at several shoe stores. Teva been around a long time. Great trail sandals. I'm gonna pick up a pair. Maybe one of these episodes I'll showcase them. And get you some low cut socks, not the gold toe with the bunched up, gold threads at the top. No. Get you some nice thin breezy socks. So with that, folks, I'm gonna be doing some skating this week. I'm gonna hit the bike. Shimmy went on a hiking trip this past weekend. I'm gonna get some pictures from her and share that with you.
No, they're not.
And
no, they're not. Stop that. They're not. Don't do that.
I didn't go hiking. She did. I'm gonna share some of the pictures with you next week. She had a good time up in North Carolina. So that's what I got planned. I'm gonna be watching some more P Valley. I'll be watching some of Abbott Elementary also. And just doing a little more reading in Alan Watts. So that's what I got going on. And thank you all for joining in. I'm going to let Headache close us out as usual. And thank you for all the comments. And again, look forward to next week's show with Renita Gibbs.
Dawn, please, I beg of you, and I never beg anybody of anything. Dawn, I beg you from the very bottom of my dark-skinned, bald-headed heart. Please, Dawn, get your mans in them. Get your mans in them.
The kids are on these sandals. They are. I heard it from them.
No, they're not. When's the last time you've been at a mall and kids was wearing seatbelts?
The kids already sweat. They already sweating me for them. Stop hating, man. They sweat. They sweating 3 for 1-2 buckle my shoe. They sweating them. That's why
That is not fashion. That is not function over fashion. Those have no function whatsoever. You wind up better coming out with them flip flops from Family Dollar, bro. Don't do that. Look how you hold them. Don't get your mans. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Where am I? Ghost of Tsushima. I am deeply immersed into that game. Started playing the Legends mode. I am definitely getting my tail kicked in that game. Need to start playing Madden. So when somebody's PS5 finally makes it here and they want to play
I'm good.
I don't punt on fourth down. So we need to get back into that.
Okay. All right.
Dawn, I will finish your book. I will put myself on the hook and finish your book out this week. That is my word. I will finish your book this week. P Valley's on the list. Musically, who's on the list? Who did I pick up? I want to say I need to go back and listen to some more PE, as always, but that's kind of like a safety net for me. I need to try something. You got anybody you recommend that's outside of my scope that I wouldn't normally listen to, that you would recommend?
Yeah.
And not that chick either. That last chick that you we're not doing that. And it's not because she's a girl. It's because that one I cannot relate to.
Wait. Well, who are you talking about? Because I was just about to say.
That's the thing, is the last one that you recommended.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Whoever she was.
Yeah.
Whoever she was, I couldn't relate. So it wasn't because she was a girl.
Okay. No problem. I like her though. They featuring her stuff on P Valley. So just you're gonna get it anyway. But let me see. Let me give you a quick recommendation for something outside of your scope. Fiji
that's
Blue.
Your man's in them, Dawn. That's why you in it, because that's your man's in them.
I'm giving you one. Fiji Blue, little like a retro sounding, electro funk kind of sound. Check them out. Just check them out. They got a little 70s sound to them, and real good vibe. Music, something to get that toxic out of you. Kind of flush that toxic waste out of it. So you take your cape off, you listen to Fiji Blue, and your blood pressure will come down. You'll be a little more congenial with people.
That's what the police are for.
Oh man.
We don't want to do that because we don't have no time. We already at 150. We don't want to do that.
Right.
We're supposed to be finishing out.
We getting out. We finishing out. But the police got you.
Billy Woods is always a staple. I will be doing Billy Woods. I will be doing listening in the car.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I need to start messing with this. Getting more familiar with this iPad that I picked up. I picked up a iPad Pro with the M1 in it. I need to get into that. So I can start doing my show notes and all the rest of that stuff and be more focused instead of being all over the place with this, you and them shoes and all the rest of that mess, or whatever you want to call them. But like I said, I got my music, Dawn's book, P Valley, Ghost of Tsushima. That's what I have on the plate for this week.
Cool. All right.
So as always, this is Headache Mitchell, 1/3 of the most poppin'est podcast on the face of this earth. For all of you all that jumped into this thing that we're doing, I do thoroughly appreciate it. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your comments. And Dawn, thank you so very much for your support. It's good people like you that keep this man on the face of this earth. And I want to thank you for that, man, from the very bottom of my heart. I do thank you. As always, be good. If you can't be good, be yourself. You can't be yourself, be honest, shoot paper, not people.
All right. Good night, everybody. See you next week.